Welcome back to the channel of truth, trust, and transparency, where again, I'm not going to gatekeep anything about the real estate and investing industry. I'm going to tell you straight away how it is. And today I want to dive into how the buyer's agency industry, I think, is fraught with danger, inexperienced buyer's agents, and why there are so many holes in it. Now, I know a lot of the buyer's agents know how it works, but I'm not too sure that the people out there, the general public, actually know how it works. So in today's episode, what I want to tell you is exactly how and what it takes to become a buyer's agent and why I think it's an issue. Listen to me carefully. If you are a buyer's agent and you are watching this video, you cannot disagree with me that the barrier to entry to become a buyer's agent is extremely low. There is little to no education that you need to do to be able to start and become a buyer's agent, that it is extremely dangerous. If you're a buyer's agent and you disagree with me, let me know. Let's get out the boxing gloves and let's fight it out, because you cannot, I don't believe that there is anyone out there that can disagree with me. The issue I have of this is the flow and effect and then the ramifications of such an industry. I'll give you an example. So in New South Wales, to become a buyer's agent, this is your steps. First is to do your real estate agent license, which you can achieve in a 3-day course. The next, and what the buyer's agents typically do, is then do an online course by a private provider to become a buyer's agent. And within, the space of a couple of weeks, can get things set up. Now, the real estate agent body has made rules around the experience you need, and they've made it you need to work, in a real estate practice, typically for 1 year before you can go out on your own. And there's a few different licensing things around that. However, what everyone is doing is bypassing that. They're lending the license of this pop-up company to work underneath them, and by doing that, they don't need to have the year of experience. They've just done the real estate agent's course and the buyer's agent course. Here's my issue with that. I've done both. None of them teaches you how to invest in property. None of them teaches you how to build a property portfolio. None of them teaches you due diligence, property data and research, negotiation. None of that is taught in any of those courses. So what then happens? Well, it's pretty easy to see. Buyer's agents are coming out of those sorts of courses and in limited and in very short time. Now they're quitting and leaving jobs and careers that they've took decades to build. Now, the issue with that is a lot of people are coming outside of industry. Now, you're more than welcome to, and I think majority of these people come because of the promise of 15, 20, 25 grand part-time, or to be able to do it on the side, or, this lavish lifestyle that, if I sign one client a month, I can make 200 grand a year. But my issue with that is when you're coming from a completely different industry, think of it with any other industry you're used to. Think of it with whatever you're doing for work at the moment. If you've been working in there for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years in that particular industry, think of what it was like when you first started, how little you knew. You cannot disagree with me on that. You start in a brand new industry. You're qualified in a matter of weeks. Let's say a month you're set up and running. How are you going to learn? The only reason these buyer's agents learn, or how they learn, is on those first deals. Great for them, great learning experience. But think of it, you're using people's hard-earned money, you're using their borrowing capacity, and you are sometimes setting them up for failure that they don't realize until it's 5 years down the track. And it's not even the cost of that property, it's the opportunity cost of maybe not being able to buy in those 5 years, missing other markets, getting no growth. You hear the horror stories all the time, bought with a buyer's agent, blah, blah, blah. 5 years later, it was worth the same amount of money, bought a unit, it's went backwards in value, bought in a shitty suburb. My issue with it is that these people are coming through, they're unqualified, they're getting set up really quickly. It's got such a low barrier to entry that any man and their dog, you watching this as well, can start up and become a buyer's agent really quickly. The only experience that they have then is on those deals. And let's think, if they've only, if they do let's say they do 12 deals in their first year, Great, but they've only dealt with 12 different deals. They've only got experience across 12 deals. Are you going to be the best and get the best deals in those first 12 when you're first learning? No. So essentially you've stitched up the financial well-being of 12 people on a whim of what? It's not education. It's not experience. You've just tried to put some things together and get in here at the promise and just clip your ticket to charge them 15 to 20 grand. Come on, guys, do me a favor. You cannot disagree with me that this is the most unregulated space next to real estate that there is. This is the issue. I have issues with these types of buyer's agents. They might be in this for 12 months, 6 months, 8 months, and they approach me. They want to come on the Everything Property podcast. What could you have possibly learned in 6 months in a brand new industry that I haven't picked up in my 10 years, or that any of the 120 guests or episodes that we haven't covered on the podcast? You're in it because you're greedy. You want the exposure to the 500,000 accounts that we hit every month to be able to charge these people. I'm sorry. It has to be said. It is sitting on my chest. I don't hate buyer's agents, but it's these people that come through, no experience, no learning. They sign up. They think that it's really easy, and they just jump straight into it, and they want to charge people an arm and a leg. It just doesn't work that way. You cannot sit there behind your computer screen with your arms crossed if you're a buyer's agent and that is you, that you are fully qualified. The next thing as well is, I think a lot of these people blowing into the market over the last 1, 2, 3 years, the issue that these people are going to have is that COVID time, you could throw a dart at a dartboard in COVID and make money. You could have picked any suburb under the sun, thrown a dart at the dartboard of Australia and made money. A lot of these people that have purchased, a lot of these buyers agents coming through may have only purchased 1 or 2 properties during COVID. And they're coming out of COVID with that growth. Maybe it's 20, 30, 40, 50% thinking, oh, this is really easy. I'm going to do it for everyone else. However, the experienced players in the space that have been in and been a buyer's agent pre-COVID, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, they know that there's markets, there's cycles. It just doesn't happen that you can throw a dart at a dartboard and make 30%. Now, my issue is they think it's that easy. They jump into it with clients. There's stories all the time of buyer's agents not doing just the bare minimum of due diligence, let alone suburb research, let alone negotiation. I'll give you the perfect example. Now, people think I'm a hypocrite because we've got the course. Guys, I get it, but this is the simple mathematical equation I will give to you. If you're trusting a buyer's agent like that, they've been in business for 12 months. They've done 12 deals. Let's just say they've done 20 deals. They've got experience negotiating on 20 deals. Compare this with someone like Scott Agate, who I brought into the course to teach negotiation. Scott has experience across 4,000 property transactions. He used to be an agent. So my question to you is, do you think the person that has done 12 deals in 12 months is qualified to negotiate on your behalf? Or would you rather someone teach you that skill that has done it across 4,000 property transactions? Because to have the same sort of experience, a buyer's agent would have had to have transacted every single day of the year themselves, negotiated on a deal themselves every day of the year, Christmas lunch, birthdays, New Year's Day, for the last 11 years straight to match the sort of experience that Scott Agate would have. Do I think that's possible? No. You go back 11 years and look at the size and the number of buyer's agents that were out there. I don't think there's many. What happens as well is, obviously those buyer's agents get maybe 1, 2, 3 under their belt. The circle in the system is the same. Either the buyer's agents that they use or themselves personally can quite easy get a news.com.au ad. You can pay for these things. Don't believe everything you see in the media. Majority of the people that are popping up there are paying to be in that spot. They'll start the buyer's agency. They'll have those 2, 3 deals. Then all they'll do with that is they'll get the newspaper article, they'll start to get in leads, and majority of the time they'll build these bigger portfolios 5, 10, 15, 20 after the buyer's agency has started, and they're using that money that they're charging people for. Majority of the portfolios that you will see today, and I'm not gatekeeping anything, I'm telling you to go back, look at the timeline. If they tell their story, look at the timeline of the properties that they acquired before they started the buyer's agency and after the buyer's agency. Majority of the time, it would have been a handful of properties before, and then after they start the buyer's agency, and they can use that to fund it. Now, the issue I have again with this is that they sell the dream that it is possible for everyday mum and dads to go out there with maybe 60, 70 grand in income to go out and afford these sorts of deals. That's just not true. You have debt to income ratio. So no matter what, the bank is only going to lend you a certain amount of money based on your income. If your income as a PAYG earner is capped out at 70 or 80 grand a year, there's only so much money that the bank is going to lend you. We can go into trusts and structures. I'll get into that on my channel. But that's the issue, is that they sell their dream, that they're living on all this passive income. And majority of the time, it's because the business is fronting the negatively geared property portfolio, not because it's self-sustaining and because they've built that off the income that they've sold the dream to. After they sell the dream, they build the buyer's agent, build the income, and the funnel repeats. Then they get the press, brings more people in, and it goes again and again and again. What you'll see in the content that I will show you on this channel is that you don't need the massive property portfolios that you think you do. Majority of the members that we're doing property portfolio sessions with game plans are finding that they can reach those passive income goals, 100, 150 grand, off property portfolios of less than 10 properties. It doesn't need to be a headline article. The goal, and I would believe the goal for investing in property, in my opinion, is to get to that passive income with as little headaches in property as possible. If I told you can do it in 5 or do it in 10, what are you going to choose? You're going to choose the option of 5. Now, that might be higher valued properties. It might be granny flats. It might be commercial properties, but you would rather 5 headaches than 10, 15, or 20. So in my opinion, that is why the Australian buyer's agency space is fraught with danger, is because it's such a low barrier to entry. It attracts the people that are sold the dream that they can make 10, 15, 20 people, 10, 15, 20 grand per person, that they can do it also part-time. Like, ludicrous to run that buyer's agency business and service all clients part-time. If they are doing it part-time, you got to think, what are they compromising on here for you if you're going to be a client? That's my issue. I think we should regulate the space more and have that more hands-on experience. Think to whatever job that you're working in now. It's kind of like, think of an apprenticeship. In the first year of apprenticeship for a chippy, are they qualified to go out and start building houses? Or do they have to get that 3-4 years under their belt first, working with someone that knows what they're doing? Exactly. So why is it any differently with the buyer's agency experience? I don't know why it is, but that's just the case. So if you're out there, if you're watching this video as a buyer's agent and you disagree, please get in touch, because I would love to have a conversation with you and hear your views on the topic. If you're out there as a potential customer, this is what I would be extremely wary of. I'd be looking at experience, and I'd be looking at where they came from before they started the buyer's agency experience. Because were they in property as well? Were they in property and working in property? They know cycles, they know how it works. Or was this just this is a cash grab, I'm jumping out, I want to go into a new career and help people? That's what you got to ask yourself, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I think the buyer's agency industry is unregulated and fraught with danger. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.